Hey, welcome back. Fan and Power Hour. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jeremy.
You are. We're getting fancier and fancier.
Slowly on this side of the desk.
Yeah. I'm still on the stubby stand, but
Oh, do you see what's on my screen?
I do.
Yeah. Doing a little recordy poos.
Little recording.
Using Reaper.
Dang.
Trying to get acquainted.
What is there a reason behind that?
I don't have enough Pro Tools licenses.
Yeah, that's fair. Everything else is uber expensive to get another license.
Yep. It's kind of cool.
Is that Reaper with a skin or without one?
This has a skin.
Okay.
It kind of looks, it has a lot of, I'm probably going to use the wrong terms. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, like going from Pro Tools to Reaper, and some guy's video, actually it may still be pulled up here. Here, this dude. The Daniel Karat, I'm probably saying that wrong. I transformed Reaper into Pro Tools, time to switch. He has a bunch, he made like RIA packs and a list of actions, so it basically acts just like Pro Tools. So I can like
you got all your hotkeys,
switch windows. Like if it feels like Pro Tools, I mean, it doesn't, not because Pro Tools is the best, just what I'm used to. So if I can,
you have probably hundreds of thousands of hours worth of time in Pro Tools.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No joke. But so if it feels like it under my fingers, I don't care what it is.
If I had a nickel.
Well, you know, but if I could, I mean, this is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Like I think a commercial license for Reaper is like $280 maybe.
Dang.
Once.
Yeah. Can you, I don't know as much about Reaper. I used it once many moons ago.
Yeah.
The same way you can add like Pro Tool functionalities into it. Can you kind of like cross combine functionalities of other DAWs in there as well?
You want, yeah. I mean, I'm very much like barely scratching the surface here. So I'm sure the Reaper bros are coming for us right now. And I'm sorry, I come in peace. I'm not making fun of you.
I feel like the Reaper community and the Linux community are very similar because they're like, we want everyone to use it, but then there's so many different like minute differences between all the different kind of types of Reaper user or Linux user.
All right. I relate more to Reaper users because I've gotten on the DaVinci train.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why not just use this? It can be free. You can pay for it. It's way cheaper. All the pros, you can still be a professional and use it. So I'm like, the DaVinci is the Reaper of the video editing world. And so maybe I can switch to Reaper.
That's true. I mean,
it's just a learning curve. I'm getting older. I can still learn this.
So my question about implementing other things is a huge selling point to me for Ableton. Other than Ableton to me is like Pro Tools to you. Like a majority, 99.99% of my time in a DAW has been Ableton.
That's what you got under your belt.
Exactly. So one of the selling points for me, though, in Ableton, especially as of, I think it was Live 10 that implemented this, but the grouping functionality, and you can have nested groups, but the group itself acts as a bus. So to me, visually and logically, it just makes way more sense than kind of the Pro Tools route of you have an extra track that's essentially a bus. And you can still do it that way in Ableton as well, but it's just my workflow revolves around that aspect now.
I mean, it was helpful to have certain types of tracks because they act completely differently in Pro Tools. And I haven't delved that far into this to know if that's the case here. Like where if something is a master fader, you can put it anywhere and you don't have to use it like a master fader. So there's like all sorts of workflow things you can do because of how those tracks interact or how they don't interact, which you can use to your advantage, frankly. And the thing I'm finding with Reaper, and I probably just haven't had much time in here, a track is anything.
Yeah.
It can be anything. So it kind of limits you into what you're able to do with it because it can do everything.
Right.
So it's like, well, crap. Now I don't want it to do this. So I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And that's one of those like the quirky things. The more time I spend with it, I'm going to figure it out. But for like a songwriting machine on my laptop.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yeah. No, it's Reaper.
Ah, that's right.
It will reap the souls of music creators.
Oh,
that's dark.
Somebody else needs to make one that's called a sower.
Reap what you sow.
Reaper and sower.
All right.
It wasn't that funny. You don't have to give me a pity laugh, okay?
All right. I won't.
This whole time, Sweetwater's pulled up on my machine, and I feel like I've been getting like seizure-inducing ads and out of the corner of my eye this whole time.
Purple.
Purple indeed.
That is the universal color of rave.
Purple?
I've been told. I don't know. I rave. I have kids.
I get it. I mean, purple is my favorite color, so.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Aw. Caffeine time?
Yeah, this is my once a week habit. So I can be present for the conversation.
Yeah.
Boy, your boy's cut his caffeine down significantly.
Mm-hmm. I think you were saying that a couple weeks ago that it's been a lot less.
A lot less. You don't realize how much caffeine you drink until you're trying not to drink it.
I realize how much caffeine I drink, but I'm not trying not to drink it.
You're much younger than me, so your blood pressure is probably not
basically like 23. So,
how old are you?
Not 23. How? 32. 32.
Those are the golden years. I'm 38. Actually, one of the comments on one of our shorts was like this 40 something. I'm like, I wasn't even mad about this. He disagreed with what I was saying. He's like, you think I'm 40? Dang.
Well, I saw that, and then I
need to self-improve.
I didn't know which one of us he was talking about.
Well, he's like he said white guy, so would have been me.
No, that's fair.
Unless he was talking about you, then that's
racist.
Is it? Or
it would be.
Yeah, so it would be.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Bud.
Dude, do better. And ageist.
Yeah, all the ists.
But he didn't like my lukewarm take.
I guess we have to be just more hot takes all the time.
We are strictly offensive from here on out. Buckle up, individuals.
So as you notice, we're on different mics again today.
Yeah. I'm
on the SM7B wannabe. It's the MV7 Plus. I've got
the Plus is USB-C.
USB-C down here, as you see. But Jeremy's on the tried and true, heralded as potentially the most beautiful mic ever invented. Mm-hmm. The actual SM7B.
Yeah, the B. Well, the SM7 would probably be the goat of goats.
That's fair.
This is the B. Oh, there was an A, and this is the B.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why they did that? Same thing they did with the U87. Like, you had technology developed in different places, and like the old U87 was people want really old ones, and they'll get them, and they don't realize like, oh, well, now I'm picking up radio frequencies. Well, it wasn't shielded and built in a way, so that's why we have the U87 AI. But same thing here. The difference between the SM7 and SM7A was just rejection of like radio frequencies and
interesting.
Yeah, wireless interference, electrical interference.
Also interesting to attach like a new moniker to it just for those changes. Like give it.
I think they had to denote it because I mean, if you were using it back then, because it did not catch on in the studio because it had some issues like that. So if you were shopping for one, you wanted to go get the A.
Yeah. Like,
don't get me that SM7 crap. I'm going to pick up the local classic rock station. Well, I guess, when was this? Like the 70s anyway? What was classic rock in the 70s?
I don't know.
But you know what is classic rock now?
Everything from early 2000s.
Yeah, I was on the oldies station and I heard Papa Roach. Oof.
Papa Roach just had a new single come out.
Yeah.
I listened to it on the way up here. I was never huge into Papa Roach.
I wasn't either.
I listened to the
But
big
that was
ones.
my time period.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
So now I'm in the oldies. Ooh, you know what else is horribly threw me into an existential crisis? Emery, one of my favorite bands, The Question, fantastic album, probably a wreck at some point. Go listen to it. Emery, The Question, it still stands up. 20 years old. They're doing a 20-year tour. I'm going.
I mean, how could you not?
I already bought the tickets.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
But the fact that it's a 20-year celebration of the
Yeah.
album that you have nostalgia for. Yeah.
And you know it's not going to be like the same show because like they've got to be old. If I'm old, those boys.
Yeah.
They can still rock though.
And rocking's a hard gig, man. It's
You imagine rocking with grandkids?
no.
Like you're still up there doing the thing?
I mean, Gene Simmons was doing the thing for a long time.
I mean, his thing was standing.
That's true. But he still did the makeup.
He did.
Wore the big boots.
Yeah. It's not like you're in like a thrash metal band. Like
No, that's true. You can just do the standing thing in thrash metal, though.
that. What? Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Semantics, my friend. Anyway, SM7B.
Well, so what denotes the A from the B?
I don't know. I think further. I don't know exactly.
Maybe
Further,
cost saving measures and things like that, perhaps.
probably like little tweaks to the circuit to reject other stuff. I mean,
but it's pretty commonly
knows?
accepted that the SM7A is a superior mic to the B.
I mean, I don't. Well, probably the SM7 from like a colloquial standpoint would be that's the one you want because everybody wants the original, right?
Even if you're trying to record an album and you get Dua Lipa coming through,
maybe. I mean, everybody wants the vintage one because the resale's higher, all that stuff. Does it really make a difference? I feel like we've shot out enough microphones on my channel that you can pretty much do anything with whatever you have. It's not the mic. It's what you put into the mic. That's gross.
Wasn't gross until you said it.
Yeah. But
there's a lot you could put into this mic.
Oh, you want to see something gross?
No. Oh, it's so nasty. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Like they're trying to reproduce this one, but this one's so old. I don't know if I can get this off.
Yeah, you don't want to tear up that foam. Okay, there it goes. Look at that. The classy. That looks so good.
It does. I don't know what this is called, but like very like this has got to be a lot of noise. I'm sorry. Like it's minimal. It doesn't have writing on it, but you know exactly what it is. Where this thing's like, sure.
Yeah. And I'm not plugged in with USB-C or else I'd be showing off my RGB capabilities.
It sounds awesome.
Oh yeah. And I've seen a handful of like streamers and stuff pick these up, and we already talked about this at length in the past, but it is a good grab if you want something that sounds great, has internal DSP essentially if you use the USB-C portion. If you're new to this mic, you can get like EQ profiles, compression. You can even add delays. Sorry, does it do delay?
Yeah,
it does verb as well.
Reverb, maybe not delay. It's been a while since I've been under the hood.
Reverb is a fancy delay anyway, so
you're not wrong.
But it's a cool mic. I've seen a lot of people start to pick them up, much more cost effective than getting the SM7B.
Easier to use too.
Yeah, and you don't need an interface. You don't even need an XLR if you're just going to plug this in to your laptop or computer. So it's cool. I just wish, even if they needed to put like Shure on the side or do something aesthetically different, I wish it was this form factor through and through.
Yeah.
Even if the electronics inside were dumbed down or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
But that brings up a whole other point. Like, why are you using your eyes? Like, why do you care? Because
it's on camera.
Okay, fair.
Even if it wasn't, though, you're right. I would gravitate toward if these were in the mic locker.
Yeah.
And you told me, hey, we're going to record something, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Pick one. I would pick that one.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Just like I would pick one of those Soyuz or something too, because they look fancy.
Yeah. Well, they have like something that you're like, I can creatively relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just as much like an emotional thing as it is a functional thing.
Yeah.
And even knowing what all these mics do, I do the exact same thing. I pick the ones that like, it's hard to pick up one that looks weird.
You
like
have
the EV-RE20.
Yeah.
I hate the way that thing looks, but it's not like they're the big three. There were big three broadcast mics, the SM7, RE20, and then one other one that I've forgotten. But they effectively do the exact same thing. They're purpose built to do the exact same thing, and they sound really similar. You know how many times I've used that in the last few years?
5.
Less than that. Very little, because I think it's hideously ugly.
Yeah.
But
that is the other like pro level like podcasting that you see.
I need to just start using it. I need to just put it up on something.
Don't people really like it on Kick?
Yeah, and this too. Yeah. Hi-hat. They're great. Like the 1975 it was like I think it was an RE20 on the hi-hat actually. But I started using this on a hi-hat because they're so similar.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I like the look of this better. So it's like, see what I do?
Do you keep the foam on it when you put it on hat?
No.
No, yeah.
No,
Take
I
it
pull it off.
It was a long time ago, but I think the thing that really made me fall in love with the SM7B was Scary Pockets. The Scary Pocket videos, they would have one of those naked.
Yeah.
They take the foam off, and just something about that felt classy, and their stuff sounds awesome.
Well, this was not a popular microphone. Like that's the thing that was that your shoe?
It was my shoe.
That was a squeak and a half.
Well, maybe a squeak and a third.
Okay. This was not like crazy popular when it first came out, and it did not catch on quickly. But now it's like this is probably one of the most recognizable microphones in the world.
What do you think did that? Do you like if we're talking common non-audio people?
I think it's found a way into so many different areas that aren't music related.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan probably did more for sure.
100%.
Than like, because everybody's starting a podcast, everybody and their brother, like he's been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody and their brothers like sees him the most successful podcaster of, I mean, what would you say all time? I don't know.
I think so. At the very least, I'm sure.
At one point,
yeah,
he brought in at least the most revenue doing it.
I would imagine probably still does, but
maybe whatever. I'm not in it that far, but everybody and their brother saw him using that, so like this became the podcast mic. I mean, there's other products that were specifically built because of the shortcomings of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shure even came back and redesigned this, the SM7DB, that basically just has a cloud lifter built into it because they're like, yeah, it is kind of quiet. You're gonna need a pretty good preamp to use it.
Which we were getting ready to start. You sat down. We were checking mics, making sure everything worked. He's like,
I had to get a cloud lifter.
I should get a cloud lifter.
But I have one, so it's not that big of a deal.
No,
but it is like it's a weird purchase for people just getting into it. Like you see streamers doing it, like anybody like filming. I think like this was the mic you saw.
Now I think that yes, Rogan and a bunch of other people doing it probably helped push that along, like accelerate that growth amongst common people. But I also think that like
the common people,
like non-audio specific people. You know?
Oh yes, the commoners,
the common folks,
I know
the peasants. It pushed it among the peasants. Bring me my monocle. What was I even saying?
Can you like do a monocle on your face?
Yeah, I will. It also it is a steep price for somebody getting into just like a bedroom podcast or something.
Yeah, what does it cost?
I think they're $4.99 or $3.99. However, it is like out of the box. Yes, it might be a little quiet, but out of the box, it sounds good. Yeah, and you don't have to deal with plosives as much.
$3.99.
$3.99.
The active version with a cloud lifter built in is $4.99.
Yeah.
What's a cloud lifter cost?
Well, it depends on which brand, right? But
the Clark Technic ones are noisy.
Yeah. What's the cloud?
129.
Yeah.
So you could either buy that and a cloud lifter for 129 or save $30 and get it built in. So
And they do like podcast bundles too, where you can get the SM7DB with like name your brand Go XLR version of like a podcast setup and all that kind of stuff. They do bundle deals, get the fancy boom arm and all that. But regardless, like you plug it in and it sounds nice. You understand a little bit about adding compression, it's going to sound even nicer. So I do think that there is a huge benefit to those people that don't really know anything about audio, but they have good stuff to say, that just go out and grab one because it's what people use, and there's not really much fuss. As long as you don't get super far away, you're going to be all right.
Well, and that's part of the appeal, right? Like, because it's a dynamic mic, you can use it in a room that's not treated. So now all of a sudden, like, you have broadcast microphone, use it in a space wherever you want, and you don't have to worry about the sound of the room because naturally a dynamic is not going to be as sensitive to the surroundings as a condenser would be. So,
and cleaning up that audio, especially for people, again, that aren't familiar with how audio really works, cleaning up a noisy room on a condenser is way more of a headache than, getting a soft signal from one of these, from a dynamic mic, to be heard.
It's a weird, like, there's an unbelievable amount of hype around this microphone. And I want to do a video on this on my channel that I've been working on for a little while, but like the hype is insane, but I kind of don't disagree with it. And in some ways I do, but in some ways I don't.
Yeah.
Like this mic, you could do so much with this mic because the little things on the back here, like the bass cut and the presence boost, like it can kind of be condenser like in certain situations.
How does it handle SPL?
Oh yeah, well? Like you can put it in front of a kick drum and not even blink an eye. Like on guitar cabs, it's fantastic. Kick drums, snare, you can use it anywhere.
Is there anywhere that you really like? You're not going to do room with it, of course, but is there anything that you'd like for sure? I will choose anything but this mic for.
I mean, I could make it. That's a hard question to answer. What I will say is I could use any mic anywhere. Right. Almost. Like I wouldn't use this as a far room. That would be silly. Like,
what if so you have a acapella choir circling around the mic?
Circling around the mic? No.
Like they're just like musical chairs around the mic while they sing.
No, I mean this wouldn't be the one for that. Like this is something you want to get like up in close, personal in your face. Like it's got that kind of natural aggression that a dynamic mic would bring to the table. So like it can do the subtle thing. Like it'll sound good on an acoustic guitar if you want that acoustic guitar to seem like it's like kind of unnaturally right up next to you, which I think is why it was so popular with like metal vocalists, because it can take crazy SPLs, but then it also has like this natural kind of distortion-y, break-up-y, like you're hitting a ceiling with a microphone, kind of, that will sound really flattering on like a screaming vocal, which I've got 2 metalcore bands coming in the next couple months, and you better believe this is going up. Like there's certain situations where like, yep, this is the mic for that. Yeah. Now it'll be paired with other mics because like I like to blend that, and I don't want to just be boxed into what this does, because there are some very natural resonances here that
you're not going to put this one up. You're not going to say, if SM7B, you take a break, you sit the bench. We're going to pull out the MV7.
If I have both, then that'll do the thing. But if I have a band here, like I'm gonna use it.
Does this? Like, I know you haven't actively spent a ton of time with this one.
Everything I film on my phone for socials, I use that.
So do you feel like characteristically it is pretty on par?
They're very similar.
Yeah.
It's not like I haven't pushed it to the limits. I haven't put it in front of, actually I did put it in front of a kick drum and it sounded good. Like, it's not an SM7B, but it's also not in a completely different world.
Yeah, just don't do this.
Oh, it looks so bad. It looks so bad. Like, aesthetics are the only thing that pissed me off about this mic.
100%.
Like, other than that, if you got rid of that sticker, you got rid of the silly RGB, and it just sat here, like, imagine this. Like, okay, it's sleek. It's got headphone. It's got USB-C. This sounds like a commercial at this point.
The other thing, though, that I really like about this one is the kind of mounting.
The way they did the cable management.
Exactly. Yeah. I do like that quite a bit.
They took this from another microphone.
Really?
Yeah. An old Eevee. You want to see it?
Sure.
Now, you may have to double check me on this. Like, so here's the RE20, right?
Yep.
Hate this thing. So there's, not because of the sound, I just don't like I think it's the color.
It gives me like retro N64 vibes.
But it always looks dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not gray. It's not chrome.
It's like late 80s, early 90s Apple Mac.
Like, it looks like plastic. It's metal.
Oh.
That's metal.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean? Like,
Huh.
Like, it's a fantastic microphone, but it looks like somebody made a dumb lightsaber.
It does. I had not ever thought that, but now it's all I'm ever going to see.
Yeah. It's hard to place because, like, this mounting point being in the middle, you can kind of move it around. This one being in the back, a lot harder to get into like tight spaces, but objectively, this isn't made for tight spaces. This is like kind of purpose built. But anyway,
as he slams it on the table,
I mean, it's a brick. You can kill a man with this thing.
What's up with all like the venting on the side?
Because
I
imagine it's part of the side rejection. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the way you build something, you could, like, is this, if I pull this off, like, the capsule's actually up here.
Yeah.
So there's venting all the way down the side. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not a microphone designer. I just play with them.
That's fair.
But if you have one or both of these, you probably have a favorite, and you probably think one of these companies does it better, or one of them is copying each other. I have no idea how true this is, but this is also an Eevee mic, the RE38, and I'm like, I feel like they copied this thing.
There are some strong similarities there.
Right? A much older mic, an RE38. This is killer. Like, look at the back of this thing. How many EQs you can do with this thing? It's way more fragile. This is one of my older ones, but I've had to repair this one a few times.
Now, was this meant to be like broadcast style as well?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about this microphone. But I've used it on like folky vocals, banjo, recorded tuba with it.
Cool.
Like anything that's like, let's lean into goofy, I grab this and it's perfect. So can't take insane SPLs. It's just it's a delightfully weird microphone and I love it. But yeah, like
extremely similar.
Yeah. And that was Eevee. So then you have RE38, SM7, RE20. I was like, who's copying who here? Everybody copies everybody. I don't know the answer here, but
do you have a take on the Eevee budget brand stuff from like the last, I don't know, decade or two? I don't see it around super often, but every once in a while I'll see some cats doing live sound using some of the like more budget friendly Eevee stuff.
Like, and what's the budget friendly stuff? See, there's something about Eevee that looks cheap, but it's not necessarily cheap. See what I mean?
You're 100% right.
I'd like if you see an Eevee, I'm telling, like if you see an Eevee mic, you're kind of like, oh, it's kind of plasticky, but it's not. It's metal.
I mean, honestly, I might be thinking of something entirely different. I thought that Eevee had like a red label version of their stuff, like the same logo but a red label, and not their like silver.
Oh, I don't know.
Obviously, it's not here. Am I thinking of something entirely different? Am I thinking like SE? Yes. And hopefully you can understand like why I thought like why they got crossed in my mind. So this
That is a
the
strikingly similar kind of logo mark.
this is kind of the budget friendly stuff that I see live guys using sometimes.
It's hard to know what's considered budget anymore. I
It
mean,
looks like they have like higher priced options.
$99 super cardioid dynamic.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
this is kind of like
$50
par for the course here.
handheld mics.
Oh, okay.
$100 condenser. Not like, I'm not saying like Amazon grade
V7
stuff, but
is that like a ripoff of a 57?
the capsule.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the V7, like the V7, is like
Mm-hmm.
meant
This
to
one.
make you think of an SM7 or S57.
We had a bunch of these at School of Rock, and boy, I tell you what, I would grab any other microphone before I grab this one.
You didn't like it?
It was, first of all, you have this plastic on-off switch that would fail immediately,
Oh,
and then it was just so noisy. Like, if that, and caveat, kids were using this thing all day, every day. So
but
if you
also,
take care of it, it's probably fine. But as soon as that gets loose, you touch it a little bit, just noise all over the place.
oh wow.
Yeah. It was not a fun time.
But a microphone like that should be built to last in a live situation. Like it'd be meant to be handled daily.
But not by children.
I mean, what are they doing to it? That would be
Bro.
different.
We're talking like sometimes as young as like 7.
Okay.
Yeah. And like
I get you.
the only time the grill of any microphone would look like this was when you got it out of the box. After that, they were just crumpled,
Oh dear.
getting dropped. We also, kids using microphone stands. You don't have a tight stand that exists anymore. So the boom stand just comes down. Kids like trying to swing the mics, all that kind of stuff. But check these out. SE has their own little broadcast dealio. I kind of like the look of this. Something about these like chamfered edges, I think is the proper term. Makes it look elegant, but also maybe closer to the cheap side.
What's the
But $100? Oh, gross.
Oh.
Ew.
What
That's even worse than this somehow.
is that? Hang on. Are these made in the same factory?
Maybe. This one's only $100 though.
Well, it doesn't have a DA built in.
That's true.
Or
They
A to D.
They had 2 different versions, I
Converter.
believe. Oh, this one does have integrated preamp and plus 30 dB gain. Ultra hot
Interesting.
mic.
Dynamite. What is?
That's their plus 30 dB phantom power switch, I think.
Got it. Kind of like a built-in cloud lifter if you want it.
Yeah. That's kind of hokey, using the stencil type font and calling it Dynamite, but hey, good reviews. 2 5-star reviews.
Interesting.
Kind of cool looking until you take the foam off.
Yeah, that looks off-putting, but exactly the same as this one.
Mm-hmm. As far as like how the capsule looks. But they have some budget stuff on here.
Oh, it's because their preamp is called Dynamite.
Dynamite. Interesting.
But the market that the SM7 just kind of found its way into. Wow, look at that. Rupert and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to listen to.
The SM7, the market it found its way into almost by accident. and has kind of become the king of that spot.
Mhm.
Like, even seeing a stand like this, you kind of expect to see either this or this hanging off of it, just
Yeah.
because that's the ubiquity of what we've seen here. And like all these other companies like clawing just to get a piece of that market share.
You know what I've seen gaining more popularity recently though is the Lewitt Ray. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Have you seen other people using them?
I have.
Really?
Yeah. YouTubers, podcasters, which makes sense. That's kind of, from my perspective, seems like the intended audience, because the Ray has like is it infrared? An IR sensor, something like that can tell proximity
Yeah.
and adjust gain essentially based on the proximity.
Yep. And it'll adjust the tonality so that you don't get
The
proximity effect.
Yep. Which that's what we used for most of our episodes.
Yeah. Like we just wanted to try something else.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way the 308s sounded. The
Yeah.
Loudons,
Yeah, those sound
ones
great.
we used for the last show.
Mm-hmm. The last two.
I'm anxious to see how these sound in comparison.
This is the first 54 episodes, and this is the first time that we've used these.
What are we doing next? I wanna use the
I'm grabbing the
R44.
R44 next.
Oh.
You can use the 88.
It's just they won't even see our faces.
Honestly, the next one should be
Big
the
mics.
OMA ones.
Okay. We
You
can
only
do
have
that.
one pop filter, right?
I have one pop filter.
Okay.
We can set up another one.
Yeah. Are you going to show those?
Yeah.
We're talking all about mics today.
Oh,
I don't want to put you on the spot.
We gotta save that for the next one.
Okay.
We gotta save
All I got to say is they are so sick.
kind of wild.
It's great.
Kind of wild to have like my own little custom.
Don't tell
I'm
me.
excited. Anyway, we kind of got off the beaten path here.
Yeah, we've been all over the place. SM7 was that? Are we closing the SM7 chapter?
I don't know. As far as the hype goes surrounding this thing, I don't think it's one of those things you need to go out and buy, because if you have all the other pieces, this is great, but this can kind of be like a bit of a hindrance if you're just getting into it and you realize, well, crap, my little Focusrite whatever can't feed this thing enough gain to get it sitting right. So I have to buy this $100 other thing and another cable.
Yeah, at least not enough clean gain.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you're getting at. Whereas like if you're trying to start a channel, trying to start voiceovers, anything like that, even if you're looking into starting a studio, I would imagine there's other mics that would be you'd be looking into first. But anything that revolves around the SM7B, I think that you can use pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
And get good sounding audio. You might have to tinker a little bit more, but you could get I know that when I was doing YouTube stuff for my own channel back in the day, I started with an 57.
Yeah.
I had a 57 with a pop filter.
They are shockingly close.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could do with a 57, you can do, it's spot on.
You can start with anything.
We should podcast with 57s. That's what we should do.
Yeah, we can.
You made this big point, and now you're like, nah.
Well, we have the other stuff, Jeremy. I'm too good for that.
You heard it here first.
No.
Maybe we should pull out we did do the roads a long time ago.
The NT1s, yeah, that's another. I haven't seen them out in the wild as much.
I need to put those out on something, because
those are 100.
I think they're $99.
Yeah. I think same case, right? One of them XLR only, another one has USB built in, which is maybe like $20 more, something like that. But those are the Rode NT1s. Those sound great. What else have we used? We used the what are they? The other Loudon, looks like a little pill on top. Those guys.
Oh, the 208s.
Mm-hmm. We used those before.
The ones for like the kind of atomic, crazy directional, like laser focused microphone. wild how tight that pattern is.
Not literally laser focused though. That would be the
that would be the Lewitt Ray.
Yeah.
But no, this thing, like the pickup pattern on that is wildly tight. Like I have used them in the same room, mic'd up an amp, had a drum kit, and if you put it off axis, meaning like if the drum kit's back there,
Mm-hmm.
if I set the amp up this way and it's rejecting the kit, you won't hear it, and it's wild.
That's insane.
It's wild. And I use those for talkbacks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're here in the studio and like, you see how close Tim, our keyboard player, sits to the drums, maybe 10 feet away, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good estimation. Yeah.
But I'll put that up for his talkback.
And he's just like whispering into it.
Yeah, you don't hear the drums.
No.
Like a little bit, but it's wild. If I put anything else up, like the drums are just gonna obliterate it.
Yeah.
So crazy laser focused mic. And that's the thing. Like you learn what these things do. Like you don't need to go buy this. You don't need to go get a 208. You're like, if that's the thing you're trying to do and you need something laser focused, great. It's a great mic. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love it. But it is weird that if like any church install I go and do, and I talk to like their elders or whoever's in charge of purchasing and like, well, we want to start a podcast. They don't know crap about crap, but they know they want SM7Bs. Like they don't even know what they want the podcast mic.
Yeah.
And this is the one that they're thinking about. Like, how do you go at a marketing level to that point? Like how much of that was organic? How much of that was intentional? And how much of it just, this happened to be the right one at the right time? That's the part that amazes me about this thing.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like a mic like that, even though it sounds just as good, will never get to the same level of marketing hype, because this, I don't know what this design implementation is called, like a nihilistic. I don't know. It's so, there's like nothing here, but it's so like industrially, viscerally beautiful.
I think part of it to me is the symmetry at the hinge.
Yeah.
My monkey brain likes that a lot, which is why my monkey brain dislikes this a lot. And that's with the foam on. I also wonder how much of it is the price point as well. Like the SM7B is priced at a position where
that's a good point.
You don't know because price doesn't equate to the quality of something in any field, but it's at the price where it's like, it's for the buyer, it feels like a true investment.
Yep. That's a good point.
And at the same time, if you are at a high caliber already, are you going to pick something, even if you don't know about it, are you going to pick something that's at the $500 or $600 mark? Or are you going to pick something that's at the sub 200, sub 300? MV7? I used to know this.
Gets it first.
Yeah, 270. You can get it for $179.
What's the 279?
279 is this one. The MV7X, I think, has no RGB and doesn't have USB-C.
But it says it has vocal isolation.
I think
just because of the pattern.
I think it's just dynamic.
Oh, that's marketing jargon.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you can get the MV7X. It is this. There's just no
exactly how we're using it right now.
Exactly.
Not the digital side.
And that is $179. So
that's a deal.
If you're already,
if I could sand the logo off,
you can get tape.
I wonder if it is.
We could 3D print you a little like koozie.
Oh. I wonder if it is like, if you can scratch it off. We're testing the handling noise now, folks.
There is a texture difference, huh?
Maybe I think I can get that off there.
Probably could.
Okay, speaking of 3D printing and housing, one of the all-time stupid, maybe you can find this, the stupidest, like, I don't even know what to call this, like studio accessory.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen where they build like 3D printed housings that look like SM7s for like an like SM57?
No. Well, I see Camera Foundry has a whole kit you can buy to make it look like an SM7B. This is to put an SM58 or a Behringer Ultra Voice XM85 thousand
put it
inside of this housing.
And people, I've seen reviews, and
dude, it's only $35. Like,
there's one YouTuber, I'm not gonna say who it is.
I saw.
Literally made the claim it sounded better.
I'm not going to go that far. However, what I will say, we were just talking about how you could probably fit a 57 in here too. Doesn't have to be a 58.
Yeah,
we were just talking about how similar a 57 and the SM7B can sound.
Yeah.
And for $35, you can get this housing kit. And
look
there
legit.
is, I was going to say, there's something to say about the peasants, the common people.
The commonal.
If they're watching a podcast or YouTube video or something like that, there might be this part that takes it more seriously or adds more value to what they're hearing and watching, because it is everybody knows the SM7B is the legit microphone that content creators use.
That's the side of the hype that I freaking hate.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a magic microphone. This is not gonna.
But it is a magic mic.
This will not make you better. No microphone will make you better, and that's the part of like microphone marketing that I find really silly.
You want me to print one of these? It's free.
No.
It's free for the STL.
Okay, what will it? Yeah,
if it's a 58 or probably a 57.
I have some.
Yeah,
I have two 48s, which are the same. They just sound worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's pod with them.
I'll see if I can get print too.
How much would that cost
to print? I'll have to plug it into my slicer and see, but probably not a lot. Well, the ones you buy probably are like either injection molded or actual metal. Why do I have to put? Don't make me put my payment information in.
Oh, you're in.
If it's
now.
free.
Now you're showing everybody all your info.
I'm not going. I get to choose when my screen cap is up, Jeremy.
I do.
Okay, I'll do this later.
You have to print those.
I will.
After you print my fan mounts.
Yes, I will also do that. Which I need to get measurements for.
I got you busy.
Well, I got my printer busy at least.
But if we do that, then I mean, if we get the fans on here, then we can start live streaming. Which, by the way, a lot more subscribers heading to the podcast.
That's true. If you're new, welcome. Sorry, I'm just now saying it.
Yeah,
but welcome.
Well done, Josh. Because this is his channel. This isn't my channel. This is his channel.
But it's a team effort.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Speaking of 3D printing stuff, this is way off topic, but here, okay, one point. If you're watching this, thank you. You could probably find a way to benefit from 3D printing things at some point if you haven't already gotten into it. And I think that studio owner, musician, hobbyist, DIY mentality people could utilize a 3D printer.
Oh yeah.
So if this is new to you or you don't know anything about it, stick with me here, because I just want to tell you about a new one that's coming out.
Okay.
There's a little bit of controversy with it, but it's
a controversial 3D printer.
Yeah, two layers of controversy. But Bamboo Labs, BAMBU, I can pull it up on my end too. Yeah, the H2D. Now, Bamboo is really well known in the 3D printing community.
It's a big boy.
They are kind of industry standard, especially for print farms with their Carbon series. That was one of the first commercially available Core XY printers. So the bed only moves up and down. A bed slinger is what you and I have, where the bed moves back and forth. Yep. Core XY are faster, more reliable. The Carbon, the Bamboo Lab Carbon, or I guess X1C, X1 Carbon, is enclosed. It is just, again, industry standard for 3D print farms and stuff like that. The H2D is their new one. And it's got a bigger volume, some other bells and whistles, a bunch of cameras that help AI integration, automatically stopping if it fails, that kind of stuff. First cool thing, it has 2 print heads at the same time. So you don't have to waste filament if you're doing color swap. you can also print two different materials in the same print. So you can have soft, flexible materials at the same time as hard, rigid ones, which is cool. Other printers have already been able to do this. This is the first one.
Is this what they were using at Oma?
They had the X1 carbon. So the newest one until this one came out.
Okay.
This just came out within the last week.
Okay, cool.
What I haven't told you yet is it does two other things.
I see laser.
It's also a laser printer or laser engraver. And if you get that bundle, you can get the 10 watt or I believe like
40.
Yeah, which 40 watt is enough to cut through some pretty thick wood.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the controversy comes in.
Okay.
The biggest downside of that is if you have ever used or seen somebody use a laser engraver, especially on wood, it gets dirty fast.
Yeah.
All of the parts in a 3D printer are finicky as it is, let alone once, you have all these different like cavities and wiring and stuff. The belts themselves that move the motor, the printer head back and forth, need to be like oiled up and clean. So as soon as you start laser etching things in there, now you're starting to compromise the entire machine. So it's like it costs a lot more.
$3,500.
Yeah. And on top of that, if you want to go back and forth or even laser engrave multiple times in a row, you're going to have to be opening that thing up. And if you look up their guide on cleaning it, it's like a 30-some step guide on just cleaning the thing. Now, I'm all about innovation. I think it's really cool. It also does like vinyl cutting and stuff. We just got a Cricut at my house and have been making things with that. Those are sick.
Mm-hmm.
This does that though. So it does all those things in one machine. They have a new AMS, which lets you use multiple spools of filament at the same time. But anyway, I've been just looking at 3D printers left and right for like the past month or so, just geeking out about them. But this one just came out and we were talking about it. So I thought I'd show you because I think it's cool.
That's really cool.
I don't think I would ever want my 3D printer to also be a laser engraver because of the extra like hands-on time I would have to have with the machine. I would much rather just spend that same difference of cost, like $1,000 or more, and get a dedicated machine for the laser printing.
Well, it's more than $1,000.
Yeah.
But so question. I mean, I realize now we're talking about 3D printers. I have very little experience, but making stuff around the studio, literally making like mounts and stuff, would save me a ton of money. But mine, I think I got from mono price for like $175.
Mm-hmm.
This is like $2,000.
Yeah.
Like, what's the actual difference here?
Well, first of all, it's enclosed. So one like yours, an open air one, you're really limited to only a couple different types of filament, mainly PLA.
Right.
PLA is one of the most rigid, but also one of the least strong
It
filaments.
cracks easily.
Yeah. And it's not weather resistant. As soon as the temperature gets anywhere above like 80-ish degrees or it's in direct sunlight, then it's going to start to melt.
Yep.
That's where you'd want like ABS or PETG, or you can even, with enclosed ones, if you have a hardened nozzle, which I think these ship with, you can print with like carbon fiber infused filaments, Kevlar filaments, things like that, which the price goes up. Sometimes you get a spool of a filament and it's like over $100 for just a kilogram of it. So and it's harder to print anyway. But the enclosure allows you to do that, one, because the area temperature of the printing volume needs to be higher for those materials to be printable.
So it can heat it up.
And extremely toxic. So these have carbon fiber, like multiple layers of filters built in. And even then, it comes shipped with an STL file that you print that forms a duct on the back where the fan is, so you can run the air duct out the window.
Wow. So these are legit dangerous.
Yeah. Well, actually, these are safe. Yours is dangerous because you could still put that filament in yours and just have extremely toxic fumes around you. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Nope. Okay.
But those are some of the bigger differences. Again, this one's Core XY. The extruder and all that are magnitudes of higher quality than either your printer or mine. I have the Creality Ender V3 SE, also bed slinger, but there's a bunch of other things that make something like this better, other than it can print a lot faster and has the enclosure. But that's kind of the main thing, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. These are cool.
Learn something.
Phantom printer hour.
I would love to get a nice one in here and see what all we can make.
We can make so much, dude. So much stuff. Starting with the SM7B enclosures.
See if they sound different. Would you know? I don't know.
You could visually tell. It won't look like metal. I have a
On
Galaxy
camera?
Black that I'll try. Maybe. That's potentially true.
We can see. See if we can fool them.
We're going to see. And it prints the grill and everything.
All right.
So we'll try it.
Okay. I'm down.
With all that,
Rexy Poos?
yeah, let's hop into some Rexes.
Now it's time for Record Rex.
It's time for Record Rex. The favorite part of the day. Bam.
Have you gotten your daily recommended doctor recommended dose of Record Rex today?
Daily recommended doctor.
Have you gotten your daily recommended dosage of doctors today?
Your daily doctor dose.
Hi, I'm Daily Dr. Dose.
I've got one. I don't know if has this already been wrecked?
No,
This album?
I don't believe so. That looks like the Ghost of Tsushima logo, though.
It's The Ghost Inside.
Mm-hmm. Which album is that one?
Is it just self-titled? The Ghost Inside?
It must be. I have for sure listened to this, but I've listened to a lot more Searching for Solace than the self-titled one.
Like, I went back and listened to this record.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot, like, their older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good.
What's song of choice today?
Probably Overexposure,
Okay.
I think.
Oh yeah. This is on my gym playlist.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was their 5th album.
Well, the whole record, it kind of goes back and forth between this, like, I don't know, what would this genre of metal be called? Like, I don't know.
Metalcore, but like I don't know. I don't do well with like describing genres. I mean, you've heard enough of what I do of where it's like I find in my mind like 2 bands it's kind of like, and then I just say it's like both of those together.
Whoops.
It's a good song too.
So, like, then it'll go to that, and you're like, oh, well, now all of a sudden we're in the early 2000s. Like, it kind of flips to that, like, melodic metalcore stuff, which, that's
It's like metalcore meets Midwest emo.
Oh, that's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
You guys have any recommendations for that sweet spot?
There you go.
Please let me know.
Especially like legitimately, this is a call of action to all you listeners and viewers out there.
Heed.
Drop bands in the comments that you're into, preferably.
The more unknown, the better.
Exactly that. That's what I was going to say. I love finding bands that have not as much of a following, just because I don't know. I do that thing for a living too. And it's cool to find other people that are still like grinding it out and experimenting with creativity.
Yeah. And when the algorithm's against you, you just put their name down there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if it's yours.
If it's yours, if it's your friends, if you're dating somebody who has an uncle that has a cousin whose dog used to be owned by the bass player of a band.
Okay.
Yeah. Drop them in the comments. Let us know.
What's your rec?
Let me go back
your
to
uncle's, cousins, dog's old former bass player.
Exactly. This one is slightly more well-known, I guess, but Lauren Babick, you ever see her stuff? She does like screaming stuff and vocal tutorials on Instagram and TikTok and everything. Her demo just came out. I listened to the whole thing on the way up here.
Babick. She looks familiar.
I'm sure she's popped up on your feed at some point or explore page or whatever. Crazy good voice in every type of
Well, let's hear it.
singing aspect. No, I'm
Nah.
This is off of her demo that just came, or not demo, her EP that just came out.
Does she play everything too?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong. I don't know a ton about her other than I've seen some of her Instagram stuff. This is like the vibe of the album, essentially.
There sounds like a shotgun.
Yeah. Cool. Right?
Dude. Oh,
she can do everything, dude, and it all sounds so good.
Oh man.
Let me show you one other song off of this EP. I'm Bored. It's got the lowest. Oh no, I guess Sanctuary has the lowest plays, but this one, it's like Attila energy out of the gate for me.
Oh,
Dude, it's brutal. Yeah.
Oh man.
The whole the whole EP is 110% worth the listen. It's called Too Much and Never Enough by Lauren Babick. And just her vocal gymnastics all over the place is so impressive to me. And, give her a follow on the good old Instagram or TikToks or anything like that if you are into that kind of stuff.
So okay. On the note of like female screamers, have you seen the girl like Adathan pop up on your stream?
I don't think so.
So go to Instagram real quick at Adathan. ADDITHUN. Now play any one of them.
Am I record me doing this?
Okay, back out. Like, go to like one of her popular ones. Like, okay, any one of the pen ones, sure.
This song makes me feel like I am a weapon.
Okay, I've only known this girl as like she's sitting in her car and taught herself to scream ironically, and she's somehow amazing at it. And then I see Matt Halpern post, and she's like, "We're in the studio with Adathan." I'm like, "What?" So she's doing a record and got Matt Halpern, drummer of Periphery.
Yeah,
like
that's
like holy moly,
sick.
She went from like, let's make some jokes in the car to like, you're playing with the best of the best right now.
That's awesome.
Okay,
I love to see that kind of stuff. I also love to see like this kind of personality of just like being all jokey and then doing screams, because that's what it's like when I'm in the studio.
Yeah.
Because we're just like goofing off, making poop jokes, and it's like, all right, do a bleg real quick.
Yeah. Well, she's got one where she's dressed up like she kind of looks like a Girl Scout, and she's like, "You think I'm selling Girl Scout cookies? I don't have any Girl Scout." Whoa! Because she does not look like she would just blast one of the most brutal screams you've ever heard.
No, I mean the gauges kind of give it away.
She normally keeps her hair down, so you don't know.
And she got like I know that there's a lot of cross pollination of like metal and camo.
Yeah,
but she's got just like camo hat. Looks like a,
kind of looks like a girl who would be around here, like country girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, she's
like not super country, but like country enough, like
rural Indiana.
My dad hunts.
Yeah,
I have beef jerky every deer season.
Yeah, that's
deer jerky.
What did you say?
I said beef jerky. Those two words go together all the time. Venison for you.
The
out
only
there.
reason you have a dehydrator is because your family hunts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's the only reason to have a dehydrator.
You got the meat one and you got the fruit one.
That one never gets used.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Anyway.
Although I do like dehydrated pineapple. Oh.
That is, yes.
And bananas. Like they're like chips.
Those are really hard to dehydrate though.
Yeah, but they're like chips.
They're so good.
Mm.
Anyway. Well, where do you stand on the SM7 thing? Because, oh, look what she's holding in that video, by the way.
Yep, and in her other car videos too.
Yep, SM7.
Maybe it's just an enclosure and she has a 57 inside.
Probably. Who knows? What do you think? Worth the hype? No? You want to buy one? No? I don't care.
We're going to print those enclosures and we're going to put our wireless mics inside of them. And next time we have to go out and film stuff, we walk around with those.
That's genius.
If you have stuck around this long, put a microphone in the comments. Let us know what you think about it. Please, please, please drop artists that you're into, especially if they're more underground.
Say what, like if they're from your state, like say where the band's from.
Shout them out. Yeah. This is your time to shine, to boost up either your band or your friend's band or something. And if you're into this, share it, like it, subscribe it. If you're not already subscribed, all you got to do is hit the button.
Do it.
If you want to go purchase any good stuff from Sweetwater, if anything from guitar strings to an SM7B, there's an affiliate link in the description that helps directly support the channel. And you can buy anything with that. No skin off your back, and it tosses a few coins our way. But with all of that, bye.